Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. Today we're going to delve into one of the most epic and exciting stories of all time, the story of Noah and the flood. It's a journey about judgment, but above all, about new hope. Are you ready? Then let's go on this journey through time together. In ancient times, humanity had turned away from its creator. The earth, which had once been a paradise, was now filled with corruption and sadness. In the midst of all this chaos, there was a man who walked in righteousness, a man named Noah. He was righteous and blameless in his generation, and he found favor in the eyes of God. Seeing the state of the earth, God made a painful but necessary decision to bring a flood to purify the world and start anew. But because of their faith, Noah and his family would be saved. God gave Noah a monumental task, a mission that seemed impossible, to build a gigantic ark. "Make yourself an ark of cypress wood," said God. He gave Noah the exact dimensions, 300 cubits long, 50 wide, and 30 high. It should have 3 floors, bedrooms, and a single window at the top. The ark would be a refuge, not only for Noah's family, but also for a pair of every species of animal that lived on earth. Imagine the scene. Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, working day and night. The people around them mocked them. A giant boat in the middle of dry land. "Noah's gone mad," they said. But Noah remained unfazed. His faith was his hammer, and his obedience, his timber. He trusted in God's promise, even when no one else could see what he saw. On the contrary, Noah went against the crowd. He didn't follow what everyone else was doing. This teaches us that sometimes the right path is lonely, but conviction in what is right gives us the strength to continue. As the ark took shape, something wonderful began to happen. From all directions, the animals began to arrive, in pairs. Lions, tigers, elephants, sheep, birds of all colors and sizes. They walked peacefully, 2 by 2, towards the ark, guided by an invisible force. The neighbors' mockery turned to astonishment, but even so, they did not regret it. The door of the ark was open, a silent invitation to salvation, but only Noah, his family, and the animals entered. Then, after 7 days, the door of the ark was closed, not by Noah, but by God himself. The sky darkened. The first drop of rain fell, then another, and another. Soon, a torrential downpour began, the likes of which had never been seen before. The fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the floodgates of heaven were opened. The water rose relentlessly, covering the plains, the hills, and finally, the highest mountains. Everything that had the breath of life on dry land perished. But inside the ark, floating on the waters of judgment, was a pocket of hope, a microcosm of life, safe and protected. For 40 days and 40 nights, the rain fell. The ark was lifted, floating on an endless ocean. Inside, life continued. Noah and his family cared for the animals, feeding them and cleaning their enclosures. It was hard and constant work, a daily test of endurance and faith. They were completely isolated from the world, trusting only in God to guide them through the storm. Here we see the second trigger, that of authority. Noah did not act on his own. He followed precise instructions from a higher authority, God. In our lives, following the guidance of those who know more, be it a mentor, an expert, or sound principles, prevents us from making serious mistakes. Noah's obedience to divine authority was the key to his survival. After many months, the waters began to recede. The ark finally came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. The wait, however, was not yet over. Noah needed to be sure it was safe to leave. First, he released a crow, which kept flying back and forth. Then he released a dove, but it returned because it could find no place to land. 7 days later, he released her again. This time she returned at dusk, carrying a freshly picked olive leaf in her beak. What a joyful moment. The olive leaf was a sign of life, a promise that the earth was being renewed. It was proof that the trial was over, and a new beginning was on the horizon. Noah waited 7 more days and released the dove once more. This time, it did not return. The earth was ready to receive them. When God commanded, Noah opened the door of the ark. He, his family, and all the animals set out into a clean, quiet, and new world. The air was fresh, the sun was shining. Noah's first act on dry land was not to build a house for himself, but an altar to God. He offered sacrifices in gratitude for salvation, acknowledging that everything came from him. God was pleased with Noah's attitude and made a covenant, not only with him, but with all of humanity and all living creatures. He promised that he would never again destroy the earth with a flood, and as a sign of that eternal promise, he placed his bow in the clouds. The rainbow. Whenever we see a rainbow, we are reminded of that promise. It is a symbol of hope, of new beginnings, and of God's faithfulness. Even after the worst of storms, there is the promise of a new day. The rainbow reminds us that difficulties don't last forever, and that there's always a new chance. The story of Noah is more than just an ancient tale. It's a lesson about faith, obedience, and hope. So, what can we learn from all this? First, have conviction. Like Noah, stand up for what you believe in, even if everyone around you disagrees. True strength comes from within. Second, prepare yourself for life's storms. Don't wait for the rain to start building your boat. Be proactive, plan, save, study. Take care of your physical and mental health. Build your personal ark before the crisis arrives. Third, after the storm, be grateful. When you overcome a challenge, acknowledge the blessings and lessons learned. Gratitude opens doors to even more positivity in your life. And fourth, look for signs of hope, like an olive leaf. In difficult times, focus on the small victories, the small signs that things are improving. Noah's journey shows us that, even in the face of overwhelming chaos, faith and action can lead us to a new beginning. It's a powerful message that, no matter how dark the night may seem, the sun always shines again. Thank you for watching and for joining me on this incredible journey through the story of Noah. If this message touched your heart and inspired you in any way, don't forget to like it, share it with someone who needs to hear about hope. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next videos. Your presence here is very important to us. Until next time.